What's up guys, today we are reviewing Nitroplus Blasterz Heroine Infinite Duel. Now since fighting games are so different compared to other genre of games, I'm gonna need to play around with the segments. So there will be things like talking about the modes available in the story section and stuff like that. Also, because I'm kinda ass at fighting games, I'm gonna need to call in some assistance for this review.
Yo.
Opening up with the options menu, we have a standard set of options here. We have adjusting the CPU level anywhere between level 1 and level 8. No level 9. Weird. You can change the number of rounds in your standard offline modes. You can change the time limit in your standard offline modes. And decide whether or not you want your battle data to be uploaded onto the net for other people to see. Sound options, all standard. You can adjust the background music, the sound effects, and the character voices. Key config. This one, I understand why they did this, but since I'm using a fight stick, this does not tell me diddly squat about what buttons go where. Would have been nice to see some fight stick prompts, but I don't know how they would do that. Similar thing with the keyboard, though I don't got a problem with that. I know exactly where the keys are, etc, etc. System options. Now this is where things get slightly interesting because this is actually where the replay theater is. So if you go into the online, you can actually download other people's replays. I have this replay downloaded to show me kind of what Mora's potential is, because the person playing it does some really cool Mora combos in it. You've got the display settings. You can move the HUD up and down. I personally don't see a point for it. Maybe if I was doing special videos, I could move the HUDs out of the way to get some clear gameplay. But even with that, you can't actually move them off the screen, so I don't know. I don't know why they did that. But it's probably a nice feature for people who know what to do with it. You have your standard language options. An annoying thing for me is that, yeah, when you have language options, this is just the way I see it. The option should be in the language the person wants. If this game came in native Japanese, I wouldn't know that clicking this puts it in English because the word English is in Japanese. And finally, we have the display options. You can change the screen resolution. Goes all the way up to, all the way up to 1080. I have mine set on 720 because why waste all that? I don't know where. Okay, there we go. You can change the display mode between windowed and full screen. Sadly, there's no borderless full screen, so you've got to pick. I guess setting it in 1080 and moving it manually still kind of works, but it's a little annoying. And finally, you have VSync, so you can decide whether or not you got some screen tearing issues or not. But VSync does slightly damage your FPS, so if you can barely hit 60, which you kind of need for a fighting game, I don't recommend turning this on. Let me rephrase that. For this segment, we are going to be talking about the various modes in the game, but before that, let's talk about the characters. This game includes characters from various Nitroplus franchises such as Saya from Saya no Uta, Mora from something I can't pronounce,
Vampires is, oh my god, Dogonia.
And Sonico from Super Sonico, while also bringing in guest characters such as Saber from Fate Stay Night, though she is the Fate Zero incarnation which Nitroplus had a hand in creating, Heart from Arcana Heart, and even Homuda from Senran Kagura. And those are only 6 of the 14 characters available, and even that is only the main playable cast. The assists are far more plentiful with characters such as Akane from Psycho Pass, Carol from Guilty Crown Lost Christmas, and Sonico. Truly, this is an advertisement in video game form. Moving on, the story mode, which is the arcade mode of the game. Nothing special here, fight a few rounds with a cutscene in between, fight a broken final boss, and a unique cutscene with the CG at the very end, aka the standard. From there you have another story mode unlocked by playing one of the characters' story mode. This is more of a visual novel with a few fights sprinkled in, Sadly, this is a pretty weak addition in my mind. The story conveyed is okay. What we have here is a murder mystery with a few characters involved, and from what I can tell, they have no connections to their own series, instead simply using their personality traits to play the roles kinda like actors. I can only assume that because I am not familiar to the series these characters originate from. Real talk. How many of these characters do we even know here?
Sonico, Homura, Saber, and I don't even know anymore, man.
This story was a bit hard for me to follow due to my lack of interest, and the fights are few and far between, but here or there it did have me interested. Note that I said the few characters involved, as this mode features 10 chapters and more specifically 7 with playable fights, all with pre-selected heroines that you play each chapter with. That means a large portion of the cast is not involved in this mode, and if you enjoy those characters, sad day for you. As far as versus, score attack, and network modes go, they are bog standard with no spin on them, though I will talk more about the network mode when we get to core elements, as the online is very important to the viability of a fighting game. As far as training mode is concerned, I'll let Beanie cover that one.
So the training mode is fairly standard for a fighting game. It has your usual things such as changing how much meter you have, adjusting the assist meter, and the blast recharge. Along with that, it also can record something you want the computer to do, as well as have the computer do something on reversal, like backdash or mash A. These are core for practicing your offense and defense and training if you know how to use them. One thing this game does have that is pretty dope is the option to change both you and the computer's characters in assist as well as the stage. Its convenience is only enhanced by how quickly the game loads up these new characters and the stage. Unfortunately, this game does not have the option to view hitboxes or frame data. While it would be an amazing feature to have, I won't condemn the game for not including it. It's not really industry standard to have this feature in the first place, and there is an instance of a past game where the frame data was included but was incorrect for quite some time. All in all, the training mode has just what you need to succeed and improve, and it doesn't disappoint at all.
Finally, the gallery mode. Not to end on a bad note, but the gallery was pretty disappointing compared to other anime fighters. The gallery is not only composed of CGs from story/another story mode and the main splash art of the game, most other fighters in this genre try to contain bonus fan art to bolster the gallery size and give players things to unlock. I'm free, so listen to Beanie on this.
The damage being high and movement around the screen being quick, the fighting in Nitroplus is very fast with some rounds clocking in at 20 seconds. Meter builds very quickly and doesn't carry over between rounds, so it allows for hard-hitting supers that combo without a ton of damage scaling. Each character feels unique, and not simply because of the difference in attacks, but also the mechanics that govern them, with some characters drawing from the source material for the mechanics, like Heart's homing mechanic from Arcana Heart, and Saber's mode switching reflecting her power set in Fate Stay Night. Another big factor in this game is the assist system, where you pick 2 support characters that can be summoned to provide assistance. These are key to victory in this game. Like games in the Marvel series, assists have cooldown. The difference though is that the cooldowns of the assists are not universal, there are varying cooldowns, and sometimes have game-changing properties, like extending combos or buffer debuffing players, or even a counter.
Ash and grab again.
Don't touch that!
A key mechanic in this game is the escape action button. When this button is pressed in different directions on the ground and in the air, it allows for different mobility options such as a short hop or a dash that goes to the opponent, which slightly varies per character. Players can also use the escape action button to cancel attacks and throws for combo extensions or mix-up. While blocking, the escape action turns into Vanishing Guard. This defensive option negates chip damage, prevents guard crush, allows defense against air unblockable attacks, higher frame advantage for the defender, and allows for both players to cancel into any attack or movement option, as well as another Vanishing Guard. The downsides are no throw teching, the inability to switch between standing and crouching guard immediately, and added landing recovery when done in the air. Adding in ground bounces, wall bounces, double jumps, and a mid-combo burst that freezes the opponent in place, you can put together some really amazing and high-damaging combos.
To me, the core elements of a fighting game come down to 3 things: single player content, tutorials, and online. Starting with the single player content, now I know most people don't factor this in when reviewing fighting games, but let's be real here. unless you have the Capcom community behind you, you cannot guarantee a healthy online community for an extremely long time. With that said, the single player content is meh. Like I said in the story section, you have story, another story, and score attack. No challenges to test your combo capabilities, no mini games to play around with the mechanics of the title, or anything else creative. So if you want more than just the average fighting game content, look elsewhere. Moving on to tutorials, this game does not care about actually teaching the player how to play its own game, so new players are completely at the mercy of websites such as Dustloop, YouTube videos, or the Nitroplus Blasterz wiki, which is incomplete at the time of this review. There is no central place to learn how to play this game, which is ultimately a huge disappointment and only serves to hold back new players from discovering just how creative the combo system really is. Finally, the online. Well, as far as connections are, it's alright from what I experienced, though your results may vary. The population is low at the time of this review. Luckily you can sit in training mode while waiting for a player match, though this feature is mysteriously missing in ranked queues. Due to this lack of players, I cannot actually experience the fun of a ranked game and instead settled on player matches. Waiting 10 to 20 minutes for a single person to search for your lobby is annoying to say the least, but the connection is good enough to ensure that you will be fighting that person far longer than it took to find them. Again though, experiences may vary. This game is far better than I expected it to be. I was assuming it to be a simple marketing excuse to advertise Nitroplus's visual novels, but it ended up being a well thought out fighting game. Sadly, outside of the fighting, it does very little in terms of innovating on the genre itself, instead copying and pasting the feature set of older anime fighters, leaving not much for new people in the genre to enjoy. And while I enjoyed a nice discount upon purchasing because of a deal involving Skullgirls, for this review, I will be considering the base price of $29.99, and at that price, I would mark this game as a borrow. See if a friend of yours that is a huge anime / fighting game fanatic has it, and maybe take an afternoon to play it with them before taking the plunge and buying it for yourself, especially if you're new to the genre. So there you have it. Hopefully I did this game justice with this review. Leave in the comment section your opinions on this game, and with that, I'll see you next time.
Wait. I think I got it. It's Vampirza Vidagonia. Vidagonia? Vampirza Vidagona. Vidagonia, excuse me. Shit. Damn it.